Hello aspirants, looking at current affairs for 25th July, the news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 12. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, NIA arrests 7 Jammu and Kashmir separatist leaders for creating unrest. So National Investigation Agency, NIA, which was the body set up in 2008. It's a statutory body established under NIA Act of 2008 post the Mumbai terror attacks as such. So this authority is having power to investigate cases related to terror without permission from state governments as well. Otherwise, law and order is actually a state subject. So there was a need for such a terror body to investigate terror related cases felt at that time, and this has been set up. And this body has now arrested separatist leaders in Jammu and Kashmir. There are charges of terror funding against them, as well as an investigation is going on in a larger conspiracy that they were being asked to keep the valley under unrest for the last decade. So this conspiracy is also being investigated into. So these are the top leaders of Hurriyat conference as such who have been arrested. So this is the Anti-Terror Law, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, under various sections under which the cases have been registered. Even Syed Ali Shah Gilani, though he himself has not been arrested, his son-in-law has been arrested. He's a prominent separatist leader here in Jammu and Kashmir. So he has also been summoned by NIA. We had earlier in May also seen that various raids were conducted by NIA too regarding terror-related cases. So this is the May 2017 case. So raids in Srinagar, Delhi, Gurgaon in premises of separatists and businessmen was undertaken by NIA to investigate into funding of terror activities. So this is here you can see another point which is put here is in 2016 NIA had also registered a separate case to probe that the proceeds from cross LOC trade. So cross LOC trade means trade between Jammu and Kashmir and Pakistan occupied Kashmir, means two parts of Kashmir. This trade was also being used to finance terrorist related activities in the valley. Then the next news item is Speaker suspends 6 Congress MPs for 5 days. So Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan, she has suspended 6 Congress MPs for 5 days for unruly behavior and disrupting the proceedings of the House. This action has been taken because these opposition leaders were demanding that an adjournment motion be passed so that widespread incidents of mob violence and murder across the country can be discussed, but this permission was denied by the Speaker. And post the din in the House, the Speaker has suspended these MPs. Such an action was earlier taken by her in July 2015 when she has suspended 25 Congress MPs for 5 days for causing disruption in the House. They come in the well and they shout and they throw papers. So for such unruly behavior, this is the action taken. Then the next news item is don't harbor unrealistic illusions, China tells India. So this is again regarding the Doklam standoff, and we come across it almost every day. So in this backdrop now, the next statement which is coming again from China is that it is urging India to correct its mistake. This is the phrase which it has been using again and again. It's asking India to correct its mistake so that both the countries can meet halfway and jointly safeguard the border and region's peace and tranquility. So this is the statement reiterated again. It has also said that China will safeguard its security interests at any cost, and India should not have any unrealistic illusions as such. Apart from this, one more thing which you should know is that the National Security Advisor of India, Mr. Ajit Doval, will be travelling to Beijing in China to attend the BRICS National Security Advisors meeting, which is scheduled there in the end of July. So at this meeting, of course, the Chinese NSA would also be there. So the two officials would meet, though there would be no formal meeting as such taking place between the two, because China has kept insisting that there will be no talks held without India withdrawing troops. So that is a precondition for talks which China has imposed, that India withdraw its troops. But it is stated that there may be some discussion on the sidelines of BRICS NSA meeting to end the deadlock. So this is the development. Then next is Mount Abu scales a record in rainfall. So the desert state of Rajasthan now is flooded. So this is the hill station of Mount Abu also receiving almost, it's considered as to be the highest rainfall ever, 770 millimeter of rainfall in 24 hours. So this has been unprecedented here, though it is a hill station, so of course flooding cannot take place there, but the Rajasthan state is also suffering from deluge now. Apart from that, we have seen that other regions in the country also, including Gujarat and as well as Assam, West Bengal, Odisha, are also seeing flood conditions. Here, this 770 mm rainfall in Mount Abu is compared with the rainfall which took place in Mumbai when the city came to a standstill in 2005, where the deluge was 944 millimeter, and in Chennai when it was around 1049 millimeter. So this was 26 July 2005 of Mumbai and the 2015 floods of Chennai. So it has been compared with that as well. So this rise in extreme rainfall events which we are seeing, flooding taking place, flooding in Rajasthan taking place, this is the consequence of rise in global temperatures as such, and even the temperatures across India rising have affected the monsoon, and we are seeing this spike in rainfall events as such. Then the next news item is monsoon weakens across Karnataka. So we are seeing flooding in some regions, but in Karnataka, here in the north interior region and coastal Karnataka, normal rainfall has been received, but in south interior Karnataka, the rainfall has been deficient, because of which the Kaveri basin remains deficient as well. And Kaveri river water dispute is a prominent dispute. Karnataka is reluctant to release water to Tamil Nadu, and here we see that though water levels are high in various places, but in this interior Karnataka, still in Kaveri basin, rainfall is deficient. Though the predictions are that there would be rainfall over the days ahead, but then the rainfall, the monsoon as such over the entire Karnataka state was strong, but now it has weakened. So this weakening of monsoon is being seen here. Then next, 0.15 square kilometer in 9 years, government. So the Gangotri glacier, which feeds the Ganga river as well, is retreating, as glaciers are retreating because of climate change all across the world. So here we are seeing a retreat of 0.15 square kilometer between 2007 and 2016. So this is the information which has been provided by Environment Minister Mr. Harshvardhan in the Rajya Sabha on a question as such. So this is a written reply given by him. He says that the melting of Gangotri glacier has been studied by ISRO as well. The Survey of India maps of 1962 are used as a base, and it has been seen that from 1962 onwards, the glacier receding, retreating, which has been seen, it is estimated to be 224.42 square kilometer of receding from 1962 as such. And from 1990 onwards, the monitoring as such is being done also using satellite data. So this is there. He also speaks about the mission, one of the 8 submissions under the National Action Plan on Climate Change. So there are 8 missions actually under National Action Plan on Climate Change, which was initiated in 2008. So one of these is National Mission for Sustainable and Himalayan Ecosystem, which is there to study the glaciers and take action to ensure that the glacial wealth, water, ice, as such, flora, fauna, wildlife, and even Himalayan agriculture and traditional knowledge system is safeguarded. So there are various task forces also established under this national mission for sustaining the Himalayan ecosystem. Then another point which he has put forth is that according to IPCC 2, that is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is an international organization, it provides reports, it's supported by UN, United Nations. So IPCC has also published its report, and in 2015 in one of its report it has stated that globally land and ocean surface temperatures have risen, and because of this it is stated that glaciers are also melting here. So this is there. Then the next news item is Lingayat ministers to elicit opinion or religious status. So the Lingayats as such, which are prominent religious group in South India and especially in Karnataka, they have demanded that Lingayats should be given a separate religion status. It should not be considered as part of Hinduism. So this is a point raised by the BJP leader in Karnataka, B.S. Yediyurappa, who was also former chief minister. Presently in Karnataka, it's Congress government in power. He has stated that Lingayat is part of Hinduism only, so there should not be any separate religion. But the other members from BJP in Karnataka are demanding so that it gets a minority religion status, and this separate religion tag would benefit them. So this is the purpose for which they are demanding a separate religion. So in Karnataka, we are seeing various issues being raised presently. One is Lingayat as a religion issue being raised. Earlier, we have also seen the flag issue being raised, separate Karnataka state flag as such. Then there is also an issue of Hindi language being used in various public signs as such also, especially in metro stations and metro trains. So this is also being protested against. So it is in English, Hindi as well as Kannada. So the Hindi language issue is also there. That the government, central government is trying to impose Hindi on over the entire nation. So that is a historical concern as such. Then about Lingayat, of course, you should know about the religion. So this religion is said to have been founded by Basavanna in 12th century, and the followers of Lingayatism, they claim that it was never a part of Hinduism, though some values are shared. But then it believes in monotheism and it reveres Lord Shiva. So this is a fact. So here you can see even Veerashaiva is another term used. Veerashaiva is the old Shaiva faith. So Mr. B.S. Yediyurappa, he claims that Lingayatism and Veerashaiva are the same. They are one and the same, and both are parts of Hinduism. Then this is regarding the various statements being given by the leaders here, you can see. So here one statement, as you can see, has been made that Basavanna, he founded the religion in 12th century, which involved the neglected classes. So actually Lingayat is against the caste system. So it does not follow the Vedas in which the caste Chaturvarna system is enumerated. So they do not believe in Vedas and the Chaturvarna system. So that is why it is said that it should be a separate religion. But then another counter which is being provided by the Math leader here is that even Ramakrishna Mission and Arya Samaj, they did not believe in Varna system and the caste system. But then still they are part of Hindu religion only. So why is Lingayat being asked to be a separate religion? Then the next news item is death penalty for Pandher Kohli in Pinky Sarkar case. So the CBI Special Court here has sentenced Moninder Singh Pandher, a businessman, and his domestic help Surinder Kohli to death. So this death sentence has been announced, describing this case as rarest of the rare case. It is the 2006 serial Nithari rape and murder case which had shocked the country. This case in Nithari in Noida was where 19 victims here, mostly girls and even young boys, they were found, their skeletal remains were found from Pandher's house in Noida's Nithari in 2006. So this was the case which came forth. It had gone on for years as such. So children were going missing in this region, and later the skeletal remains here found were also seen. The confession which the police extracted from Surinder Kohli, he had admitted that these children were lured by him and brought into the house of Moninder Singh Pandher, where they were raped, murdered, and he had also stated that the pieces of their flesh were cooked and were eaten by them. So this was also a confession, a shocking confession which he had made. The bodies were dismembered as such too. So this is the incident here detailed out. Then the next news item is mankind's giant leaps. So this is Outer Space Treaty. The Outer Space Treaty has completed 50 years now. It came into force in 1967, October 1967. So this Outer Space Treaty was post the Cold War as such. During that time, the height of Cold War, when USA and USSR were trying to outdo each other in space as well. So this treaty specifically bars signatory countries from placing weapons of mass destruction in orbit of Earth, on the moon, or any other celestial body or the outer space. So this is a bar imposed by it. Plus also now it is said that Outer Space Treaty may not be relevant for the purpose for which it was initiated, but it is a significant treaty which has completed 50 years now. So the space rivalry, it is stated, it has definitely come to an end to an extent in 1975. We are seeing that US astronauts and even Soviet cosmonauts are working together. We have even International Space Station as an example. Though it is going to end in near future as such too. So this is regarding the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. Even a decade before that, first intercontinental ballistic missiles were also successfully tested. So this is also the context in which Outer Space Treaty was formulated, because space technology also is a significant part of it is also dual use technology, which can be used for weapon purposes as well. Then the next news item is opposition seeks scrutiny of banking regulation bill. So this is regarding the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2017. We have already discussed, and you should know about Banking Regulation Amendment Ordinance, which was promulgated in May 2017. So an ordinance is alive. Ordinance is an extraordinary power with the executive, that it can initiate a legislation when the parliament is not in session. But now we are seeing the monsoon session is going on. So once the parliament comes in session, the ordinance has a life of up to 6 weeks. If within that time the legislature accepts or passes the act as such, the amendment provisions, then it continues to stay in force. Otherwise, the ordinance lapses in 6 weeks. Maximum life now of as such will be 6 weeks from the day the parliament has started its session now. So this is regarding that. So this amendment bill, which is proposed to replace the ordinance, when Union Finance Minister introduced it in Lok Sabha, the opposition is demanding that it be sent to a standing committee for scrutiny. So this bill is actually having the same provisions as the ordinance, that it is authorizing the RBI to resolve the problem of stressed assets. So the RBI can refer to such cases to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, and we have seen many such cases. 12 assets, stressed assets cases specifically have been picked up and have been referred to IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, which has been established under Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code of 2016, which has been passed by Parliament. It's a code, means a law passed by Parliament as such. So this is there. So here that's what the provisions are, but now the demand is it be sent to a standing committee. So we'll see what further developments take place on this as well. So here it is written, RBI will also be empowered to issue directives for resolution and appoint authorities or committees to advise the banking companies on stressed asset resolution. So basically it's regarding resolution of stressed assets. Then the next item is Vodafone India Idea deal gets competition panel's nod. So this is regarding Vodafone and Idea. They had proposed a merger. They had agreed to merge their operations in March 2017, but then such cases have to be mergers and acquisitions. M&As have to be referred to Competition Commission of India, which is an anti-competition regulator as such. So an anti-competition, or as it is internationally called, antitrust regulator. So this Competition Commission of India has now given its approval for the merger. So the telecom companies were facing the heat because of entrance of Reliance Jio. So this deal of merger was brought in so that it will become the largest telecom player, outdoing even Airtel. So this was the proposal of merger which has been approved. Then next is IMF retains 2017 GDP growth forecast at 7.2%. So International Monetary Fund has given the forecast for India's projected GDP growth rate for the month of July, and it has retained its forecast at 7.2% for 2017-18 year, and for 18-19, the next financial year, its forecast for India's GDP growth rate is 7.7%. Also, it has revised upwards its growth outlook for various countries. So India's remains unchanged, but there are other countries whose growth forecasts have been revised upwards, means improved. That is Japan, Euro area, and China. So they are seeing an upward growth. Also, it has spoken about inflation. So it says inflation in advanced economies remains subdued. Low inflationary levels are seen below targets. Plus, as we have seen presently in India as well, we have been discussing, it's gone below 2% mark. So it has mentioned about that too. So several emerging economies such as Brazil, India, and Russia are also seeing declining inflation. So this is also mentioned in the report. Then next is ambiguity on GST irks solar players. So goods and services tax has been implemented. GST has been imposed on solar components as well, and the rate of GST on solar components is 5%. But then here the solar power sector industry players, they say that suppliers are not passing on the benefits arising out of input tax credit to them. So this is one delay which they are speaking of. Plus, apart from that, they say that other components which are required for development of solar panels, etc., are not specifically for solar purpose. They can be used, such components can be used for other purposes as well. So then the GST rates on all such components are varying. Some components are at 10%, 18%, sorry, not 10, 18%, 5%, and even 28% as such. So this is a point which has been highlighted by the solar industry as such regarding GST. Then next is the last news item. Olympics 2020. Japan begins 3-year countdown. So 2020 Olympics, which takes place once every 4 years, is going to take place in Tokyo, Japan. So this 2020 Tokyo Olympics preparations have begun here, and there are steps being taken to ensure that the costs remain low. So to contain the costs means to keep them low is one of the objectives here, because even International Olympic Committee is fearful that if the budgets are ballooned, means raised high, then future Olympic bids will dry up. There will be not many will be coming forth for Olympic bids. So it should not become an unsustainable venture as such. So it has praised the local organizers in Tokyo for having slashing the costs. So this is there. The last Olympics which took place in Tokyo was in 1964. So that is it. Thank you.